What's going on, guys? So this week I'm gonna be working on tracking some guitars for a project that I'm working on, and I thought that it'd be cool if I could take you along for the process. Not so much the guitar side of it, but the production side of it. Take a look at the way that I'm miking the amp. I'm using a real amp with real microphones. There's all kinds of different ways to record guitars with interfaces and amp modules, modelers, and all kinds of different things. I've got a Kemper and I've got a Strymon Iridium, but today we're going to be using a real amp with real microphones, with a real pedal board, with a real guitar, and so I'm going to just kind of walk you through that process of what it looks like. But first, before we look at it, let's talk about it. So the first thing I've got going on is I'm gonna be playing my, I think I'm gonna use my Strat, going into my pedal board, and I'm gonna be running into my Benson Monarch 15 watt amp. I think I'm gonna run that on the left side, and I'm gonna run a Fender Hot Rod on the right side. I'm gonna run it in stereo. And I'm gonna mic them up with 4 microphones. Yes, 4 microphones. And put all the mics panned hard and left to give me a nice wide stereo field. So I'm gonna show you the mic placement. I'm gonna show you the types of mics that I'm using, where I'm putting them on the cab, why I'm putting them on the cab the way that I'm putting them. And so hopefully you'll be able to take these things and apply them to your production. I'm doing it this way just because this is the way I'm doing it. And honestly, if I do it tomorrow, I might do it a different way, because you can just do all kinds of things, especially with a real amp and real microphones. The creativity is limitless. You can do whatever you want because you can mic it 6 feet away. You can put it right on the grill. You can do all kinds of things to get the sound that you're looking for, which is why I like using a real amp and real mics instead of modelers, especially in the studio. Live is a different story, but in the studio, man, there's so much possibility for fun sounds when you mic a real amp. So let's get into it today and check it out, all right? All right, so first thing I want to talk about is mic placement. This is so important to the sound that you're gonna get. Okay, so imagine with me, you gotta bear with me in my drawing, okay? But imagine that this is a top-down view of the amp, all right? So there's the amp, the front of the speaker is right here. Here's the handle on top. So my speaker is in here. So now I'm using 2 microphones, okay, and the speaker goes from here to here. I'll show you a front view in a minute. So I'm coming back this way about 12 inches, 1 foot. And I'm putting a microphone right on the edge of the speaker on both sides. I'm using 2 microphones, and I'm angling them, not straight, but I'm angling them in towards the cone. So there's the cone right there, all right? So their polar pattern, their pickup pattern kind of goes like this, okay? So this is going that way, and that's going that way. All right, so now I'm picking up the speaker, the full speaker, from both angles with 2 completely different colored microphones so that they sound different and not just the same thing from 2 different angles. All right, so here, let's take a look at the front view. So here is the amp. Here is the speaker inside the cab. There's the cone right there, all right? So what I'm doing is I'm putting a microphone right here and right here, okay? But 12 inches out, like over here, and I'm angling them this way. But I want them kind of centered. I want their module centered right here around the cone. So this is not the actual microphone. The actual microphone is kind of down here. This one's upside down. Okay, but the module where it's actually picking up is right here in line with the cone so that I get the full brightness. So look, if you have your cone right here, your speaker, and there's your cone, the closer you are to the center of the cone, the brighter your tone is. The further you are to the outside, the darker your tone is. So I'm trying with this setup to capture everything. I don't want just one part or the other. I want the whole thing, all right? So that's kind of why I'm approaching it the way that I'm approaching it, so that I can capture the entire sound of the speaker and not just a small portion. If you close mic your amp, like a lot of people do, and like I do sometimes, depending on the sound I want. For this sound, I'm trying to go for a more open, kind of transparent, honest tone rather than an in-your-face tone. So, but a lot of times you'll see guys, they'll mic it like right here. They'll put a mic right there. Okay, right on the cover, right on the grill. And what happens with that is you're picking up essentially one spot on the speaker. You're picking up right here, okay? And so you have to balance it really carefully so that you get the appropriate amount of brightness versus the appropriate amount of darkness, okay? But what I'm doing here is I'm able to be a little bit more generous and a little bit less precise in my placement because I'm trying to pick up the whole thing and not just one spot. So the polar pattern of the mic, if you don't understand what that is, watch another video. I'll make another one later. But for now, just understand that I'm picking up the entire sound of the speaker and not just one spot on the speaker. All right, does that make sense? So. All right, so here we go. Now we got it all set up. You can see the actual mics by the amp. You can see they're about 12 inches from the front of the amp. So there's the grill right here. My hand is 9 inches. So you can see I'm close to 12 there on both sides. So there's the edge of the speaker right there, both sides, straight out. And then angled toward the center, just like we talked about. See that? Same thing here, right there, boom. Now you can also see the placement on the amp. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. So there, you can see they're towards the center. I told you, see, one's upside down, one's not. And from there, they come down, they go out their respective cable there. They come over here, shablam, all the way over here, and they plug in right, you see that? Yeah, right into this preamp. Now this, the Warm Audio 273 preamp, it's awesome. And then from there into the Scarlett, and then ultimately into the computer. So then I won't show you the Fender right now. It's the same setup, but running stereo into the computer, and that's gonna give us a really nice open tone. Because I'm not right up on the grill, it's gonna be a little more open, a little more honest, more true to the actual tone. Because it sounds the way that it sounds in the room, to me anyway, because it's picking up the full speaker. So we're gonna plug in and make some noise. that's it. Those are the tones we got with that mic set up, and I think it sounds pretty good. I did a little bit of compression in Logic and a tiny bit of ambient reverb just to glue everything together. So if you want to see how I did that, hit me up in the comments down below, and I can do a video on I guess, yeah, post-production on electric guitars. So hit me up down in the comments about that. Also, if you want to see more content like this, like the video, subscribe, turn on the little bell, you know the routine, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys, later.